Of course, this is the 100 series, 2600 series landcruiser with the 1 FTE engine for the catch can. So I put a provent 200 in here. So 16mm hose runs from here through to here. Chose clear hose because A, it was like a quarter of the price. I don't really care if I can see through it. Yeah, pretty much, and I can replace the hoses. So to mount it up on here, there are existing holes through the body here. And this is like an M8, this is an M6. This bracket is just two pieces of 90-degree aluminium that I have cut to length and then puff riveted at intervals. And then, yeah, basically drilled this through. Some M6s through there, bolted this on, and then bolt this on here. Put a piece of rubber under here just to, I guess, take any vibration and to protect the paintwork a little bit too. It's a pretty snug fit to get down there. I had to flex this brake line out of the way. They are pretty malleable, so they're easy to move. It presses down. I'm trying to see if you can see down the bottom here. There's a drain hose right the way down the bottom through that gap there. You can kind of see it. So it does, that's the drain hose that comes out the bottom. You can see it down through there. So it presses pretty firmly down on that when it's all bolted on, but not a big issue. It's not enough to break any of the plastic as well. You may have noticed these fittings are pretty much overkill. I just ordered mine with just the unit without any of the hoses or taps. I was going to use just brass 90s, copper 90s, plumbing ones, but because they don't have a little beveled edge, you can't really clamp them that well. I was worried that they'd slip off. So I went to the plumbing store and they gave me these 90s, and so basically this reduces it from a 25mm hose. I've just got two short lengths of that. It's a threaded piece under here, so I've put a bit of high temperature gasket sealant just along the thread so I didn't get any oil wicking through the threads. So did that top and bottom. And then this is just a reducer here that reduces it down from 25mm down to 16mm. And again, bit of gasket, high temperature gasket go in there just to stop the oil wicking out if it was to. What I was able to do is use the original, this is the original, can we focus, hose that went down to the actual air inlet. So I've just pulled that off the top of the engine and I've just diverted it over to here. And then, so all I needed really was that top piece of hose, which is about 1/2 metre, which is pretty good. I did buy a metre of this and a metre of this because I wasn't sure how I was going to tackle it up. But I needed, 10 centimetres worth of the 25mm hose, then about 1/2 metre of this one. Obviously a bunch of clamps just to make sure it's secure. So look, it's probably, this is the first time I've put one in, so not bad for a prototype, but I might at some point, if I find some nicer looking pieces that are slightly smaller, change these out. But for the time being, they fit in there pretty snug. There's 8mm in between this, so that actually just contacts it with a little plastic. There's a tiny plastic tab there, just contacts that, and it does touch ever so slightly down the bottom here on the airbox. Not enough to cause any damage. Yeah. The other thing to keep in note is that I've mounted this on these bolts, obviously, and that's dropped down. When I close the bonnet, it does press ever so slightly into here. It's just left a little bit of an imprint. I was worried about that at first, but it also helps just to keep it secure and keep a bit of pressure. Just sort of holds it down in place so that if I do hit some bumps, it's not going to bounce around too much. Keeping it secure, it does move a tiny touch there. Again, nothing that's going to fracture off, but if I was to do some crazy corrugations, that little bit of pressure from the bonnet just touching on there is probably going to keep it nice and safe and snug. And obviously the 2 bits of angle I had to use so that I could bypass this and get that down there. That's pretty much it. I've only done about 1,000 Ks, actually 500 Ks on it, and there is already oil sort of pooling in the bottom here. Obviously the big issue, I'm not getting so much up through the actual catch can itself. It seems to all be sitting around that pipe and I guess draining back into the engine. But hey, look, there's clean air going back in, even if it does just sit in that little part there, as long as it doesn't block. I did have seen people mount these over here where there's heaps of space. Yeah, I just didn't like the idea of having to run the hoses over that side of the engine, but it is pretty compact. I saw a video of someone mounting it off here in this space. Again, I couldn't really see how to mount it successfully there without having to move a bunch of plugs and things like that. But yeah, it does fit quite snugly. Again, we're just missing these, well, how are we? Brake lines here. They can just flex out of the way ever so slightly. And that is pretty much it. If I had my time again, I'd probably maybe extend the bracket a little bit further this way so that I could mount it maybe half an inch further that way. And that might just give me a little bit more free play around here. Obviously, if I have to change the air filter, which isn't such a big thing, I'm just going to undo this and pop the hose off, or I can just undo the bracket itself here, just undo my 2 bolts, and this lift this to the side. Cool.